exciting. Welcome. I want to just take a quick 15-20 minute body break today. So if you've got a chance just to move your body a little bit, you can take this time. If you have a little bit more time, you can always add a breath work at the beginning, and you can add a meditation at the end. But sometimes it's hard to find any more than 15 or 20 minutes in a day. So I think we're going to start with just a couple deep breaths. So we're going to do a couple letting go breaths. So for that, we're going to breathe in through our nose. We're going to breathe in deep all the way, filling our diaphragm and our lungs up, and then we're going to exhale out through our mouth, and we're going to exhale out what's called a letting go breath, and it's a sigh or a letting go all the air out of our breath, or out of our lungs. So we'll just start with our inhale through our nose here. Feeling your lungs and diaphragm fill, your belly rising, and then exhaling out through our mouth, sighing, letting go all the air. Letting go of your tensions. Inhaling through our nose, another deep breath. And exhaling out through our mouth. Letting go of everything that we've had so far today. Inhaling through our nose one more time. And letting go of everything. And maybe we'll just do some 3 nice shoulder rolls. Drawing our shoulders up to our ears and down our back. Maybe you feel bones cracking like me when you do this. And then we're going to do maybe some gentle neck rolls. So we'll start by bringing our left ear towards our left shoulder. Keeping our shoulders lowered away from our ears. And then we'll just slowly roll our neck and our head forward. And bringing our right ear to our right shoulder. And then slowly drawing it forward again. And then one more time. Bringing our right ear towards our right shoulder. So our practice today is going to focus on connecting our breath with our movements. So we're going to bring our head back up to seated, and we're going to go through some seated cat and cow. So it's just like cat and cow from all fours, but seated. So we'll have our hands on our thighs. With our inhale, we're going to bring our belly forward. Bringing our crown of our head and our sits bones back. And with our exhale, we're going to round our back, arching our back, bringing the crown of our head and our sits bones forward into cat pose. Inhale, dropping our belly to cow, and exhale, rounding our back to cat. We'll do that one more time with our own breath. Inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. And then we'll come back up to simple or to seated. And we're gonna do a gentle twist here. So we're gonna bring our left hand behind our left hip, our right hand onto our right thigh. We're gonna inhale to lengthen our spine and just exhale, gently twisting to the left. So we're gonna start with our core, followed by our shoulders or our chest. And the last thing that's gonna twist is gonna be our head or our gaze, and only if it feels okay. And we're gonna breathe here, and we're just gonna use our breath as our guide in these twists. If it's hard to take a deep breath, then maybe just come out of that twist a little bit. That's our sign that we're in a little too far. The next inhale, we're going to lengthen our spine again, and exhale and twist. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to bring our right hand behind our right hip, left hand onto our left thigh. We're going to inhale and lengthen our spine. Exhale, twisting to the right, starting with our core, followed by our chest, and the last thing to come is going to be our gaze. So if it doesn't feel good to twist with our neck, we can always keep our head just facing forward. So the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to join or yoke together or bind together. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to practice joining our breath and our movements today. We're going to inhale to lengthen and exhale to untwist. Because I think that is yoga, is bringing our body, our mind, and our soul, joining them all together. So we're going to bring, if you've got a bolster or a pillow underneath your bum, you can bring that out. We're going to make our way just down into child's pose for one breath here. So come onto all fours, and then we can bring our knees out wide and our big toes together. We're just going to sink our sits bones back onto our feet or our heels. We're going to stretch our arms out in front of us and sink our chest down towards our mat. So this is child's pose, and just knowing that this is accessible for you at any point in time in your practice today. You can always stop whatever you're doing and coming into child's pose and just breathing for a few breaths. We're gonna come up now, and we're gonna make our way into downward facing dog. So we're gonna bring our hands not right out from underneath our shoulders, just out front a little bit from there. We're gonna tuck our toes, and we're gonna come into downward facing dog. So we're gonna have a bend in our knees. We're gonna be bringing our belly towards our thighs. Maybe pedaling out our knees here, dropping one foot, then the other. Working to bring our heels towards the ground, but just keeping a bend in our knees for now. And we're gonna work through a heat series here. So we're gonna inhale to plank forward, our body forward to plank or modified plank. So I'll model modified plank right now. But if you have plank in your practice, you're more than free to do that. And then we're gonna keep our body like a nice straight plank. We're gonna lower down to the mat. And then we're gonna come inhale to our up pose. So we're gonna have the bottoms of our hands at the bottoms of our ribs. Inhaling up to cobra. So we're gonna engage into the top of those feet, pressing into the top of our feet to engage our legs. Just a nice gentle back bend here. If you have downward facing dog in your practice, you can always go to downward facing dog. And then we're gonna exhale back up to downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling those feet out one more time. And then we're gonna walk our feet up to meet our hands. You can always step and jump as well if you prefer. We're gonna come into forward fold. So from forward fold here, we're gonna be bringing our belly towards our thighs. We'd like that belly resting on our thighs so we can bend in our knees as much as we need to have that happen. We're gonna bring, especially at the beginning of our practice, our head, crown of our head towards our mat. And we're gonna think about bringing our sits bones up towards the ceiling. Then we're gonna, on our next inhale, we're gonna bring our hands to our shins and we're gonna come into flat back or half lift. So we're gonna think about having our back nice, flat, our neck an extension of that back. And then we're gonna exhale back down into forward fold. And inhale, softening of our knees, bending of our knees, inhaling all the way up to tall mountain, then lowering our hands down to mountain. So now that we're up here, we're just gonna go through a quick half sun salutation. So we're gonna inhale our arms up, exhale, swan diving down into that forward fold. Inhaling to half lift, exhale to forward fold. We're gonna engage our core here, engage our thighs, a nice bending in our knees, inhaling all the way up to tall mountain. Lowering our hands back down to heart center and back down to mountain pose. So we're gonna do a couple full sun salutations here. So that's gonna be the half sun salutation we just practiced and the heat series that we did at the bottom. We're gonna combine those into a full sun salutation. So we'll start in mountain pose. We'll inhale our arms up, exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Inhale to half lift, exhale to fold, planting our hands, stepping back with our left foot into lunge, and then our right foot back into downward facing dog. Inhaling our body forward into plank or lowering your knees into modified plank, and then exhale, lowering down to our mat. Inhaling up to cobra, or if you have up dog in your practice, and then exhaling back to downward facing dog. Walking or stepping our feet up to meet our hands into forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhaling all the way up. And lowering our hands back down to heart center, back to mountain pose. So we're going to do the same thing again. We will inhale our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to fold, planting our hands from this forward fold. Stepping back this time with our right foot into lunge, and then our left foot back to meet it into downward facing dog. Inhaling our body forward to plank or modified plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling up to up dog or cobra, choosing your up pose. And then exhaling back to downward facing dog. Walking our feet up to meet our hands into forward fold. Inhaling to half lift. Exhale, nice bend in our knees into forward fold. Bending our knees, engaging our core all the way up to tall mountain and lowering our hands back down to mountain or Tadasana. We're just going to go through a little warrior sequence here. So we step back with our left foot into warrior two. So right foot's going to be facing forward. Left foot's going to be parallel to the back of the mat. We're going to make sure we keep that right knee over top of our ankle, or even less than, it can be out. And just making sure we're tracking that knee, maybe that if it isn't falling in. We can inhale our arms up, one out in front, one out behind, and bring our gaze over that right middle finger. Maybe taking a nice deep breath here. Maybe a letting go breath, inhaling through our nose, letting go. Exhaling through our mouth, lowering our shoulders away from our ears. And with our next exhale, we're going to bring that left hand down our left leg, right hand up into a reverse warrior. Bring our gaze up to that right hand, palm of the right hand. Exhale. And with our next inhale, coming back to warrior two. And the next exhale, we're going to come into modified side angle. So we're going to bring that right forearm to our right thigh. And we're going to think about making a straight line out from our feet all the way to the tip of our head. Our left arm can be on our hip, or it can be out over top of our bicep to make that straight line go even further. We don't want to have our weight in that right arm. We want to have lots of core here. And we're going to push ourselves back up to one more warrior two. And then we're going to flow through that now. So we're going to inhale to warrior two, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two, exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior two, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two, exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Bring your hands to our feet, or our hips, sorry. We're going to take a big step, bringing that left foot up to meet our right foot, back into mountain pose, and we're going to just flow through a half sun salutation here. Move our bodies a little bit, so we'll inhale our arms up. Exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhaling all the way up. Lowering our hands back down to heart center. We're going to sink into chair here. So we're just going to sink, lowering our hip bone or our sits bones down like we're sitting in a chair. We want to make sure we can see our toes, make sure we can wiggle our toes at our weights and our heels. We want to have the work here being into our glutes. So you have your hands at heart center, or even your biceps up alongside your ears. And we're going to just push ourselves back up to mountain pose. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll step back with our right foot this time. Our left foot's going to face forward. Our right foot's out. We're about a 3.5 or 4 foot stance. When it comes to warrior two, our hips and shoulders are going to face the long edge of our mat. We can bring our arms up, one in front, one behind, and our gaze coming up our left middle finger. Maybe one more of those letting go breaths here, inhaling through our nose and sighing out through our mouth. Letting go, releasing our shoulders away from our ears. And then from with our next exhale, we're going to bring our right hand down our right leg and our left hand up. And the gaze coming to our palm of the left hand. And with our next inhale, we'll come back to warrior two. We're going to come to modified side angle on this side. So that left forearm onto our left thigh. Our arm can be up over our ear. It can also be right on our hip here. Lots of strength in our core, being able to lift that left hand up. And lots of core muscles and leg muscles here, pushing ourselves back up to warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, modified side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, modified side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Hands to our hips, step that right foot all the way up to meet our left in mountain pose. We'll do one more half sun salutation here. So we're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, swan diving into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bending our knees, inhaling all the way up to tall mountain. Lowering our hands and sinking back down into chair. So lowering those sits bones down like we're in a chair. Making sure we can see our toes over our knees. Hands can be at heart center here. Or our arms can even be up alongside our biceps. Weight in our heels. Maybe sinking a little lower here if we can for one more breath. And then pushing ourselves up. And back to mountain pose. So we're going to start making our way down to our mat here. So we're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Last forward fold. So we'll really think about bringing our crown of our head towards the mat. Our sits bones up towards the ceiling. Nice bend in our knees so our thighs touches our belly. And then with our inhale, we'll come to a flat back or forward half lift. Hands on the shin. Exhale, forward fold. Planting our hands, stepping back with our right foot into plank, into lunge. And then our left foot coming back and coming into a downward facing dog. So we're going to do one more heat series here. So from downward facing dog, we're going to inhale our body forward into plank. And remembering you can always bring your knees down into modified plank. Exhale, lowering our body down to the mat like a plank. Inhale, our hands at the bottom of our rib cage. Inhaling up to cobra, engaging into the top of our feet, our arms at a 90-degree angle. Or if it's in your practice, you can always come into upward facing dog. And then we're going to exhale, just coming back onto all fours. So swinging our legs around and coming down onto our sits bones. We're going to do one more core work here. So we're going to bring coming onto our bums, our feet out in front of us, knees bent, wiggling around until we find those sits bones, and we're grounding into our mat from our sits bones. We're going to come into boat pose. So we're going to lean back until we feel our core nice and engaged. And you can stay right here if you'd like. You're going to get lots of core work right here. If you'd like, you can also lift up your feet off the mat. You can also straighten out your legs. So just choosing here where you'd like to get the most amount of work and where it feels good to you. And then once we're here, we're just going to remember to breathe. And then maybe we're lowering our feet down, rounding our back. Around our legs, giving ourselves a nice little hug. We'll maybe do that one more time. Start with our feet on the mat, leaning back till we find a place where we're engaging our core. And then if you'd like, you can lift your feet off the mat. Just choosing where you're getting work today and where it feels right for you. And remembering to breathe. And then rounding our back one more time, giving ourselves a nice hug. We're going to make our way into simple seated now, just to do a few more gentle little stretches to cool down. So we're going to start, let's just flow through some seated cat and cow with our own breath. So our hands can be on our thighs, our knees, wherever feels good. We're going to inhale, dropping our belly forward, round or arching our back this way. And then we're going to exhale, coming into cat pose, arching our back like an angry cat, crown of our head forward, sits bones forward to cat pose. Inhale to cow pose. Exhale to cat pose. And one more time. Inhale to cow pose. Exhale to cat pose. We'll come back up to just seated here. We're just going to go through one more gentle twist. So we're going to bring our left hand behind our left hip, right hand onto our left thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, gently twisting over to the left, starting with our core, followed by our chest, and the last thing to come is our gaze. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to untwist. Right hand down behind our right hip, left hand onto our left thigh. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twisting gently to the right. Twists are kind of like when we wring out a dishcloth at the end of doing dishes. They wring out some of the toxins and the stress out of our spine. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to untwist. And we're just gonna come through a gentle chest opener here. So we're gonna interlace our fingers. And with our next exhale, we're gonna round our back, coming forward, pushing our hands out in front of us, stretching out that back, upper back. And then we're gonna come back up to seated. We're gonna interlace our fingers in our back this time. And we're going to draw our shoulder blades together, our shoulders away from our ears, just getting a nice stretch through the front of our body this time. Front of our shoulders, chest. And then we'll bring our hands back to the center. We're just gonna do maybe one more shoulder roll. So 2 more shoulder rolls. Bring our shoulders up, down our back. 2 times there. And then we're just gonna do one more neck stretch. So we're gonna bring our left hand underneath our left hip. We're slowly going to draw our right ear towards our right shoulder. Feeling a nice gentle stretch. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to center. Bring our right hand underneath our right sits bone and draw our left ear towards our left shoulder. Feeling a nice gentle neck stretch here. And then we'll come back up to center. Now we're going to lie down on our mat into corpse pose. So just making your way to flat on your mat, flat on your back. Your legs heading out, feet heading out towards each side of your mat, to the outer edges of your mat, thighs spiraling open, your arms along your side, with your palms facing up. I invite you to stay in corpse pose here for as much time as you have. Maybe it's a minute, maybe it's 10 minutes. Just closing your eyes and allowing yourself a few minutes of relaxation for the end of our little body break here. I'll leave you now, but thank you for joining me today. Namaste.